I'm Hikari Senju. I'm the founder and CEO of Omneky. Omneky is a generative AI company for generating personalized ads and content at scale. A lot of the vision and mission of the company is actually embedded in our logo. If you look at the gold color logo monkey, it's the same color as the logo for Publicis, the golden line, and Omneky is somewhat reminiscent of Omnicom as much as it is reminiscent of our value prop of being an omnichannel creative platform. And I had this vision, and actually the domain name and the logo was Delaware started in late 2017 and in 2018. And so from that moment, it was a very clear vision that generative AI would disrupt creative services and the creative services industry. The creative services industry is dominated by largely 5 holding companies that are a conglomerate of different agencies. Why is that? It's because creativity used to not be able to scale. You can only have so many Don Drapers in a room before they're at each other's throats. Creativity is a business of egos and visions, and therefore there's a lack of scalability when it comes to human creativity. But with generative AI, and if you can generate and scale human creativity autonomously, if you can generate the content, generate the marketing strategies, then you can have infinite scale. And then you have the natures of software, the data modes, the network effects, the scale effects that can provide a competitive advantage defeating a somewhat disorganized group of holding companies. And so that was the vision of starting Omneky in 2018, disrupting creative services with generative AI. And we've been executing diligently against this every single day for the past 5 years through tough markets and boom markets like we are in right now. And so it's a very exciting time to kind of be in the midst of this. And last year at TechCrunch Disrupt, we were actually the only generative AI company pitching on the big stage. And so we've been a first mover in this space for some time. And it's really great to see a lot of this coming to fruition now. My background is I studied computer science at Harvard. I had cross-registered at MIT. And I was actually at MIT almost a decade ago when I saw the early generative AI kind of demos. And at that moment, I thought it was the coolest thing because my dad's a painter and my grandfather worked at IBM for 40, 50 years. And so the intersection of AI and of technology and art, the idea of building AI that can generate art, I felt like a certain life mission there. And that if I could dedicate my life to building such a product, it would be a fulfilling life. And it's a company that I would love to run for decades and decades and decades. And so that's kind of my personal motivation. That at that time, that wasn't very clear what kind of company I could start in generative AI. And so I started 2 other companies. One of them was a ed tech company about personalized learning, generating content, personalized curriculum for students. And in many ways, that's a theme that we apply to advertising. We believe that advertising is education at scale. It's about personalized learning at scale. This company was acquired by another ed tech company where I led marketing. And it was really there, as we all know in the audience, that there's an infinite demand for content by marketers. Speed and frequency is the name of the game for high performance marketing. And it's a never-ending beast that needs to be fed with content. And that it's really only a problem that can be solved with generative AI. And so this was the moment running marketing that I saw this personal passion and mission of playing around with these generative AI tools from college with this clear market opportunity to build a company in this space with this vision of disrupting these industry incumbents with generative AI. And so the way Omneky works, and we're going to go through a demo of this, is we use computer vision and image to text, video to text to quantify the creative, to describe what is in the image, what's the story being told in the image and the video. And by the way, that's very, very key. Never before has there been a tool for quantifying design. Every single role within a company, whether it's product or engineering or sales, they all have a data analytics platform, but designers historically have been lacking an analytics tool. That's partly because it used to be very difficult to quantify design and combine design with the structured data in advertising. So we first unlock those insights there by combining the structured data in advertising with the power of computer vision and image to text. And now with LLMs, actually, we can start getting design insights from unstructured data as well, which I'll dive into. We then generate that content with state-of-the-art machine learning and generative AI. And then we have a workflow for customers to approve the content and then launch the content seamlessly through the platform. And really what makes Omneky unique is that we are an omni-channel content orchestration and generation platform. So, about a month ago, I think Meta announced their content generation, like image ad generation platform. We were actually the only ad company included in the TechCrunch article announcing this as the alternative to Facebook generating all your ads. Facebook is only 18% of the market. Google is only 22% of the market. Their CPMs are very high. Companies can't rely on a single platform anymore to scale their marketing advertising. You need to go omni-channel early, and you need to also make sure that the content that you're generating omni-channel is consistent. Brands are like your friend, and if brands change their personality every time you saw them, you wouldn't trust that friend. And likewise, the current trend is that Meta will optimize their ads based on their data, and Google will optimize their ads based on their data. But then that means that the ads and the brands will evolve in distinct personalities. And so there needs to be an independent company to orchestrate the creative content and orchestrate the messaging to make sure it's consistent and personalized in an omni-channel way. And so kind of like in Loop, we are a loop as well. Marketing is a loop. It's a never-ending loop of optimization where we ingest data and then we output content in this cycle of optimization and personalization. We really view ourselves less like a content generation company and more of a data workflow company where we get unique insights, design analytics that then power the content. But the core infrastructure, the core IP, the core team is built around data ingestion, data analytics, data insights, and then there's a content layer on top of it. I think content generation in of itself, whether it's landing page generation or any of these other things, is not sufficiently sticky. Content is a one-time thing. You get it and you can kind of go to another platform or use another tool to generate content. It has to be in the workflows. It has to be in the data. That's really what drives long-term enduring value for a product and for a company. So that is our unique positioning in the market. And really what powers all this, and this is a big announcement we made about a month ago, is our large language model. And this is so exciting because it unlocks a whole vector of growth for us. No pun intended. It's really the there's a treasure trove of data in unstructured data that marketers and companies sit in. For example, all these sales transcripts in Gunk. Our LLM will train on these transcripts and then get insights about what are the strengths and weaknesses of the product. What are the common pain points that customers are bringing up in sales conversations? What are the selling points that sales teams are finding that are most driving sales? That can now instantly be turned into a marketing campaign and an advertising creative campaign like never before. I mean, never before could a human go through and read all your sales transcripts and combine that with performance marketing data and combine that with their understanding of the brand book and the brand brief and all the other training material you may have. Now you can build one holistic large language model that understands both the performance data and all the internal conversations, the emails that are being tracked on HubSpot and Salesforce, the customer complaints. That can all be internalized by the large language model to then generate unique, innovative ideas like never before at a speed and frequency like never before. And so this is really what's so exciting and in marketing today, I think. And this is really rightly so why there's so much energy and excitement in this space regarding large language models in marketing. And then this powers for us, images, like ads and videos. We don't really think that the killer app for large language models is going to be chat. I don't think people want to spend all day chatting with their data. I think what people want are actionable things to do. One of those things will be content. One of those things will be ads. But there are many other actionable things that can be generated and powered by large language models, insights, analytics, others. But it's not going to just be a chat, I think. And so for us, we're focusing on advertising content, creative content. We generate creative content powered by this large language model, personalized for all the different target audiences, personalized for all the different SKUs that a company may have, personalized for all the different languages and geographies, and personalized for all the different distribution channels. This is a really key problem that a lot of companies have. For example, a company like Sony, they have one of the largest music catalogs in the world, and yet they cannot sufficiently monetize this catalog because they can't create ads for all those musicians and albums and catalogs. But now with generative AI, they can quickly do this and unlock all that value. There's tons of examples like this all over companies today, and these are the kind of the values that we can unlock with generative AI and large language models. So with that, I'm going to dive into the demo. So first, everything that we do is powered by data. So we are we integrate with all the different ad platforms, and customers can immediately measure the performance and return on ad spend across the channels. We are working on building a GPT agent that can then autonomously adjust budgets and do the media buying on its own. That said, GPT agents today have a failure rate of around 60-70%. So you can't really rely on, you can't deploy a $100 million advertising budget against a GPT agent today. But in the near future, you're going to go from a 70% failure rate to a 70-80% success rate. And when that happens, there's going to be a lot of change throughout the world. It's going to be massive. And it's going to obviously have massive impact for our business as well. You could automate media buying. You could automate campaign planning. You can automate budgeting. You can automate the tactical kind of fine-tuning of different campaigns, ad spends, audiences, segments, things like this, just by giving it a goal. And so that's happening in the near future, and we're working on this. The other unique thing for us is we not only are tagging the data with computer vision, but we're also describing, the story behind the image. What is the story being told here? And that's unique because it's really every image, every ad is a story, right? And that's really what is the insight that marketers really and designers want. They don't really care that there's a person in the image or there's a certain color in the image. That's only so insightful. It's what is the person doing? What's the story being told? And that is really what you can start being derived when you quantify and really start doing image to text and video to text. So for example, we can say, a collage of photos with the words, gone are the days of expensive photo shoots. This is a feature that drives, sales, for example. Now we can generate different ads with this kind of premise. We can try different, photos, or we can try different ways of laying out this basic premise. But that is a better, more actionable way of getting an insight using image to text and computer vision, et cetera, to iteratively improve the creative. These are more useful design analytics and insights. On top of that, we provide other types of insights, what are the dimensions, what's the sentiment, what are the special characters, dominating colors, et cetera. Standard insights there. We then use that to power generation. So, prompt engineering, right? Prompt engineering, it's a big thing. People say it's going to be a big thing. One of the interesting things for us is we've actually working on automating prompt engineering, because what we've done is we've reverse engineered all the prompts that would have generated all the images. We've cross-referenced that with the performance of each of those images and videos. And then we, with big data, actually automated the process of suggesting prompts to users. So instead of a user trying to A/B test prompts themselves, we can actually suggest prompts based on what's historically performed better than others. And then just by selecting the prompt, you can generate that image. The other thing, this is a very key feature, particularly for companies with a lot of SKUs, is they can upload catalogs of their product photos. So for example, maybe a pair of glasses. And then our AI will train and build a custom model on each product. And then customers can then generate models or any kind of photo using that model, using the trained model. And this is on our own custom A100. And, while we wait for this to generate, and, we can also see some other photos here of other pre-generated images past. Really, again, what used to take months, photo shooting, hiring a model, doing photo shoots, et cetera, now takes an instant. And really, this really can drive a level of personalization like never before for companies with a lot of SKUs. and operate in a lot of geographies. The last part of the demo I kind of want to share is our creative. So, I think one of the biggest challenges, right, is the whiteboard effect, the kind of, blank page, like where do you even start when trying to come up with a marketing campaign? Well, based on the LLM that we shared previously, trained on your marketing data, trained on your brand data, we can provide some creative suggestions based on what we think will drive more sales. So, can you share your product and service description? Omneky generates personalized ads at scale, or leads, help drive, more sales with 10x number, personalized content, or perhaps more leads. And then with that, our AI will generate a creative brief, plan, suggestions based on training it on your historical sales data, your sales conversations, your performance marketing data, performance data, competitor analysis. We've had GPT agents that will go find your competitors, research your competitors, download their ads from Meta ad library, train it and learn what value props your competitors are testing, and kind of bundle that all into this kind of format, an actionable format for yourself to then generate. You can also edit this yourself and remove some ideas you don't like. You can then generate sample creatives based on this creative brief. You can even have the AI do that for you. That takes a minute. And then once you're happy with the content that's generated, you can then submit it for our platform to generate the ads. While we're waiting for this to generate, one cool capability now that if we're, you figured out the headlines, you figured out the images, maybe you've uploaded the images, you've linked your product photos in the past to our digital asset management tool, we can then generate all these different iterations for you on the fly, right? Instantly. Different products, different SKUs for different audiences, different discounts for different audiences, different headlines and copy, background photos, colors, etc. Done all instantly. And again, the value that this unlocks for companies with many SKUs, for many different product offerings. If you're a sports league and you have different combinations of games happening every week, it's going to take a long time for you to create games highlighting every single athlete in each team based on who might be fans of which athlete. But now an AI can do that instantly. If you have a large music catalog, obviously that can generate many iterations for those music catalogs. If you're a company with many different product offerings, operating many different geographies, you can do that now all from the Omneky dashboard. And really, again, this was always kind of this push and pull between control and personalization, right? You used to have to sacrifice control for personalization. If you wanted to run a personalized, localized campaign, you'd almost have to delegate the campaign to a local marketing team. But what happens then sometimes is that the local marketing team can go rogue and they can release some kind of campaign that has maybe it might work for that locality, but definitely does not work maybe in terms of the global brand. And we've seen instances where large brands have suffered because some local marketing team went rogue. And so now brands can remain in control of their messaging at scale while being better personalized and driving more value. Now the AI has generated images. We can say, I like that, like this vibe, add that to mood board, needs a brief. And then now that'll be sent to our platform either to generate the ads based on this kind of vibe that was created, mood board, or if you're an agency and you have a lot of creators yourself, you can then send that. The creators can then use this and generate their ads. They can then upload. We then upload our ads through this dashboard, where customers can then approve the ads through this interface. They can just annotate an element if they aren't happy with it. We'll then make those iterations, and then once the customer clicks approve, the ads will be launched automatically across all different platforms. So that's a quick demo. I guess the final feature here, just to share very quickly, is our library feature. And there customers can upload their brand guidelines, our AI will automatically pull and read your PDFs and pull which brand colors are and what the fonts are, and then also automatically tag and categorize all your assets and put them in folders, so that all your brand content is in one place. I definitely think in a world where there's infinite content, value will be captured by the tools that help you manage the increasingly infinite amount of content at your disposal. This instance, this is trained on like Omneky, right? So this is based on Omneky's data, Omneky's value props. We could generate, this, for example, this model, on a woman in a lemonade stand, flawless, like something else. Maybe this demographic really likes lemonade. You're targeting a 5-year-old or something. Work in progress. There's lemon flavored glasses here. Like right now, as you can see, right, the failure rate is for generating imagery is fairly high. I would say probably like 70%, 60, 70%. It's kind of like almost on par with GPT agents. Like it fails like 70% of the time. So you have to generate more images to get a higher hit rate of images that actually work. The way we're currently integrating image generation is just putting it into a mood board, so that the images aren't complete, but it's enough for a team of creators, for example, to work off of, to then generate ads that that are more aligned with the person's vision. I think it's really interesting. My previous company, the logo was a dolphin, and dolphins communicate with sonar, and they also perceive the world through sonar, right? So that means actually that they perceive their input and output form of communication is the same mechanism. As humans, we perceive the world through our eyes, but we communicate with words. So it's a very low bandwidth kind of communication, right? It's almost like, if humans could communicate with images, that is how dolphins communicate with each other. And likewise, I think what the mood board does and what generative AI does is they can help humans communicate more efficiently with images. So, if you have a vision in your mind, you can use generative AI to communicate that vision. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe it has issues, but then you can communicate that vision more clearly to another human, maybe a creative team, so that the creative team therefore then is creating content on the first try more aligned with your vision than, oftentimes, for those designers out there in the audience, we've all had, you create something, the customer comes back, says they're not happy, you create something else. There's like many cycles of iteration until you finally understand what the person was trying to get at. With generative AI, that bandwidth is improved significantly, so maybe you can even generate content on the first try. And again, that is about increasing the bandwidth of human communication using tools like generative AI. I think the amount of data that marketers have sometimes is overblown or depends really on the platform, right? Increasingly, a lot of these platforms are walled gardens. So I think, again, it really comes down to, therefore, creative being the biggest lever for growth. Targeting really isn't an option anymore when it comes to marketers. They can't really target an individual email as much as you used to be able to, or a specific person. So you really have to A/B test different types of content to get to the audience that you want to get at. If you want to if you want to target people who like penguins, then maybe you want to include ads that have penguins in them. And that's probably the better way of targeting than trying to actually, find those IP addresses or whatnot. So that's really where I think creating in iterating and A/B testing creative content comes so key, especially as a lot of these, the trend is increasingly towards more data privacy, more data protection, which I think is right. Therefore, creative and content is more important than ever when it comes to driving performance in marketing and creative campaigns. you have Copilot with the coding. Every one of our engineers is on that. We have, been using it to varying degrees. Obviously, we're all using ChatGPT to, generate, test. I mean, honestly, it's a great way of testing concepts. Like, even the creative brief idea actually was initially A/B tested through ChatGPT prompts, and then we kind of got it to a certain point, then we productized it. Runway ML, some of these tools I think are interesting. That said, though, those that use these tools know that, it still does fail like a large percentage of the time. The content that's generative is really not useful most of the time still, even with many of these image and video tools. So I think, but that said, that the speed in which the technology is progressing is so fast that, and also there's these new content creation tools popping up every day that, for us, it's really more about productizing that product. There's the content generation capabilities into the data workflow, into the data processing, ingestion, implementation insights, and then packaging that and selling that to customers first. Then really just riding the wave of all the incredibly imaginative, creative, powerful tools that are being released in the market every day for content generation.